All right, our next storyteller, big round of applause for Stan.
So last year I celebrated my 50th birthday. I know, yay, he's alive still. I also celebrated the 50th anniversary of the day I was adopted. And the day I was adopted was November 22nd, 1963, which you might remember was the famous date that JFK was assassinated. So coming into this new house, I had expectations by my adopted parents that I was going to somehow fulfill JFK's legacy. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm working on it. In 2008, though, my mother passed away, and I was born in Denver, Colorado, so my girlfriend and I decided that the place to take her ashes would be Denver. That was the place where she was the happiest that we knew of in her life, right before I was born, right after I was born, before she divorced. So in May of 2009, we took my mother's ashes back to Colorado to go to the Rocky Mountains and scatter her in the Rocky Mountains. And I decided at that time that it would be time to look up whatever I could find out about my adoption. So we went to the Denver County Courthouse. Now, Colorado had the strictest privacy laws about adoptions that anybody knew of at the time. And you couldn't find anything out. I was told the only way you would find anything out is either to get lucky by signing up for a registry, and maybe your mother or father is looking for you and they'll find you, or maybe you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on an attorney and years in the courts, and maybe you'll find something out. But I thought, I'm going to start the process, we'll see what happens. So I went there and paid the $1.50 or whatever it was to file the paperwork with the state of Colorado to start looking. By the way, my adoption paperwork, and I know this because my adopted mother gave me the paperwork, the adoption itself cost $10. So, you know, back then it was only $10 to adopt me. Now, about a month later, after we filed that paperwork, I got an email from the woman who ran the registry that I'd signed up for 10 years earlier. And she said that Colorado had passed a law saying that anybody born before 1969 could get their original birth certificate. And it just so happened that that law was passed right when we were in Colorado with my mom's ashes. By the way, the paperwork to file to get your original birth certificate was $37.50. So there was some inflation there, $10 to adopt, $37.50 to find out who your parents were. So I sent away for it, got my original birth certificate, and one day it came in the mail, and we opened it up, and there were the two names that I always wondered about. Father was listed as Paul Tovik. Mother was listed as Ellen Brooks. Now, the other bit of paperwork that I had gotten from my mother was that I was baby boy Brooks when I was born. So I knew this was the right birth certificate. But I didn't know much more, and the birth certificate didn't tell me anything else. So I got on the internet, started searching, spent about an hour. Paul Tovik released nothing. There's no Paul Toviks anywhere in the United States, at least as far as Google is concerned. As far as Ellen Brooks is concerned, there are millions. So I decided to sign up for the free trial for Ancestry.com. And I figured, if I don't find her in 14 days, I'm never going to find her, and I don't have to pay anything. So I did it, and within an hour, I had found it. And it was Ellen Brooks, actually Ellen Green, née Ellen Brooks. And it was a marriage record from Casper, Wyoming. And it had an address and a phone number. So I talked to my girlfriend about it, and I said, what do I do here? I mean, this is really amazing stuff, and you know, in an hour I found her. And she said, you should write a letter. And I thought about it for a while, and I said, you know, if I don't do something tonight, and something happens, I will never forgive myself. So I'm going to call. So I pick up the phone and dial, and I get an answer machine. Now, when you're 40, whatever it was, however old I was at the point, and you think about finding your birth mother, the scenario you don't predict is that you're going to find them and they're out to dinner at Denny's. So I thought, no, this is not something you leave on an answering machine. Hi, this is your son. Call me back. So I called back again about an hour later, still the answering machine. It was getting a little late, and it was in California, and it was 7:30 here. I figured it was 8:30 there. I thought, I don't want to call after 9 like I'm going to inconvenience her. So I called one more time, and I got her on the phone. And I said, I'm looking for Ellen Green. She said, this is Ellen. And I said, I'm looking for Ellen Green, who used to be Ellen Brooks. And she said, my name was Ellen Brooks. Now, I knew all this already because Ancestry.com told me, right? There was nothing here that she'd said that I didn't already know. So then I said, I'm looking for an Ellen Brooks who used to live in Denver, Colorado. And she said, that was a long time ago, but I used to live in Denver. And that was when I knew it was her. So I said, here comes the hard question. Did you ever give up a son for adoption? And she said, yes. Are you him? And I said, yes. And then she said, are you happy? And I said, yes. So I found my mother. And it's a new beginning with a new mother. I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm a composer, and my adopted mother never really got my music. But when I sent my music to her, she wrote back a message that I knew she got it. She figured me out. So last June, my girlfriend and I, who is now my wife, went back to Wyoming, visited Yellowstone, and then went to visit my mother. And I booked a show in a coffee house, and I played my songs for my mother for the very first time. Thank you.